It is the first week of March Madness and things are mad. I'm here with someone who's going to be competing in the tournament, someone who has gone on to do a lot of amazing things since last time I saw them in person. Today, we are joined by Anna DeWolfe. Thank you so much for making Locked On Women's Basketball your first listen of the day. The show starts now.
Ogunbowale for the win.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball.
This is the daily podcast on women's basketball. And like I said, I am joined by Anna DeWolfe. So I'm going to get this over with quick because we got to hear from Anna herself. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right, Anna, thank you so much for coming on Locked On Women's Basketball. Today is a day off for you, right? How has it been having the day off?
I mean, after the ACC tournament, we got really lucky and blessed that Coach gave us the whole week off. And that actually fell on our spring break. So I was able to travel, go see Sarah, kind of reset, regroup, watch her play. And then I came back and it was right back to work where we started. We had the last 3 days of practice that were really intentional, focusing on us. We didn't know who we were going to play yet, what our path was down the future. So we were really just focusing on Notre Dame basketball, what we needed to pick up on. So it's been really good. It's been a little bit tiring because obviously we've been going for a while, but it's been super fun. And I love the laser focus that I can feel on the court by not only my teammates, but my coaches as well.
Dialed in. How long has that feeling of laser focusedness been with you and the team?
I really think that, if I go back a month ago, I felt a shift in our team. We had this one team meeting where we just all kind of focused on one thing that we were going to bring every day to practice, whether it was an intangible thing like boxing out every possession or just communicating every possession or calling someone else when you need it. I feel like that was our shift in our momentum, and we really peaked at the most important part. I feel like a lot of coaches talk about peaking at the most important time, and last month was so crucial for us. And I have really just seen a growth and a change in my team since that team meeting.
What was the one thing that you picked to focus on, if you could tell us?
I said I was going to focus on boxing out, defense, and communicating every possession. And just kind of being that glue for our team, really bringing us in and focusing on the little things. Because obviously we probably will talk about it a little bit, but my role on the team is has changed since Fordham. And that's just a thing that I've really grown. I feel like I don't score the ball that much, but I bring my team together. And I think that's been really important. I was going to really focus on it the last stretch of this season.
And when you were knowing you were going to transfer, taking that into account that there might be a shift, was that something that you wanted? Did you want to try something new and a different style of play?
I mean, there's no pressure. I felt at Fordham, there was a lot of pressure to score the ball. There's a lot of pressure to I felt like I put on myself just being in the A10. And I think when I knew when I was transferring, it was going to be a lot different in that sense. But I think it was definitely, and I knew it was going to be a challenge as well. It wasn't going to be an easy change. But I think I really took that upon myself to just grasp every change, every challenge, and just go in and know that this was my last year of eligibility, my last year to play the sport that I love. So definitely just enjoying every moment of it.
I feel like for every senior who may not go on to play, or you really don't know how your relationship with the sport is going to play out, but you're having all these ceremonies, you're having senior day, you're having a lot of lasts, this is my last preseason practice, this is my last first game. How has that been freeing for you? Because I feel like that is a process of freedom. A lot of people who are going to be done with the sport potentially go through, and then it kind of is a new relationship with it where it becomes a little bit more fun from my experience.
It's honestly just weird to think about. I can't think about what my life is going to be like next year. I mean, that's a little bit dramatic, I guess, because I'm planning to play overseas. I just don't know what it's going to look like. Like, I feel like my whole life, the last 22, 23 years of my life, like, I've known exactly what I'm going to do next year. Even when I was transferring, I knew that I was going to be playing college basketball. And like, you always have a set schedule. Someone's telling you where to be. You have classes every day at the same time. Like, it's just weird to think that like that's not going to be my life next year. Like, I plan on playing next year, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be as structured. Like, it's going to be different. It's going to be like, hold yourself accountable, which I think I'll like a lot, but it's just weird that I just don't really know what it's going to look like, if that makes sense.
And then coming into Notre Dame, were you pretty aware of what your role was going to be, or was it said that it was going to be flexibility within it?
Yeah, I mean, when I transferred, I knew that like my role wasn't going to be what it was like at Fordham, no matter where I went, no matter what school I would have picked.
That would have been a crazy feat, Anna. I'll tell you that. Like, everything that you did at Fordham too, that would be amazing to that's a lot to sustain for 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. I just think like I knew it was going to be different, but I was ready for it. Like, I felt like I paid a lot of my time at Fordham. I had great experience. Like, I had great friends, great memories, but I was ready for a change, and I was ready to like, I knew like I could play at this level, and I thought that like this was a chance to do it, you know? So just like circling back to the question, like I knew it was going to change, but I was just excited. And when I got here, like in terms of my role, like we had a big roster, but a lot of people unfortunately got hurt, and it was obviously the next man up type of thing. And in that sense, like I got lucky because I could play a lot more and like have a bigger role, I guess. But like I came into the impression that I had to prove myself. I only had a year, and like nothing was going to be easy or given to me. So like I really came in just having to prove myself and who I was as a person, as a leader, as a player. And I kind of just ran with it and just was myself. And I got super lucky and super blessed to just be in the position that I am today.
How do you feel like playing the ACC fosters more confidence rather than you've never been a cocky player? Nobody would ever describe you as that, but super, super confident. So is this a new version of confidence you feel like you have in this conference?
I think it's just like a level of intensity and competitiveness. Like every night you had to show up. Every single night in the ACC you had to show up or you'd lose. Like you can't come in at 50% because any team, one through however many teams are in the ACC, like you could lose to any single one of them. So you had to show up every single day. And like that's similar in the A10, but I just felt like there was a different level of intensity. Like when you're ranked top 10, ranked top 15, like everyone has a target on your back. Everyone wants to beat Notre Dame. Like even if like we were ranked lower one week, like we still were Notre Dame, and like to beat Notre Dame, it's like historic, you know? So like you had to show up every single day. You had to play with confidence. You had to come out and be Notre Dame, or else you'd get everyone's best. And Coach Ive always says, like, we get everyone's Super Bowl. So everyone wants to beat us. And I think that was just like, it brought on a different level of intensity for me. Like when we played the bigger teams, like it was just so much fun. And just like being able to compete at the highest level there wasn't much more I could ask for, I guess.
You're going to keep going, and we're going to get into the game against South Carolina in Paris. Yeah. And that level of intensity, after this break, we're going to get into it. I saw out of you too when you were at Fordham playing Notre Dame too. So you knew from past experience that it would be, oh my God, this is a whole new step up of how our opponents are coming into this gym.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. And we're going to talk more about Anna. We're going to talk more about the ACC. Today's show is also presented by Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. My favorite, the 2024 Nissan Rogue, is perfect for city drivers and great escapes. Class exclusive Google built-in is always updating. Assistant to call on for almost anything. Gone are the days of connecting your phone. Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store are built right into the 12.3-inch HD touchscreen and infotainment system. The 2024 Nissan Rogue is perfect mid-size crossover for your next adventure. Also, the 2024 Nissan Armada will change what you expect from a full-size SUV. Picture a rugged 4x4 that can seat up to 8, first-class luxury and style. Tow bigger and explore further in the 2024 Armada. Take the Nissan Rogue, the Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop nissanusa.com. Also sponsoring today, like I said before, is FanDuel. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tourney. I know a lot of people are making their brackets this week, whether you're betting on a big upset or a 1 seed or 2 seed, Anna. It's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets in your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. Just join FanDuel.com/lockedon and bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets. And Anna, speaking of cutting down net, you got to do it at the ACC. And one of the things I told you, I had learned some weird things about you in my research that I didn't know. One thing with your experience cutting down nets, high school at Fordham, and now in Indiana, you were a little worried about what the armpit situation was going to be. Were you thinking about that this year when you were up there cutting the net and taking the selfie?
A little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. How did that feel? Really, honestly, though, cutting it down, do you feel like that tradition is one of the best feelings for you in basketball?
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the biggest reasons why I transferred was I had never won a championship in college. My last one was my senior year of high school, and I was really inching towards that. I really wanted that. And when I got on my first phone call with with Coach Ive, she just said this is a place where we win championships, and I can see that, and you will be able to help us do that. And it was funny because right before I got up on the ladder to cut down my piece of the net, Coach Ive hugged me and was like, I told you, this is exactly what I told you. This was our first conversation. And she said, now look at us. We're celebrating together. This is what more could you ask for, really? And I know I've said that before, but I really mean that. I'm getting a Notre Dame master's. I've met so many amazing people. I won a championship. I'm going dancing. I literally can't think of another way or a better way to spend this last year of my eligibility. It's just surreal, for real.
How many selfies do you think you took on that court that day?
Oh man, I don't think I've ever taken so many selfies in my life, and I looked so silly. I literally look at the pictures back. The app that we use for our pictures, there's so many goofy pictures of me. Even Notre Dame social media, I look goofy, but I don't care. I was having the time of my life. My family was there, my friends were there. Lauren Holden was there, which was super special to me. To see her in the stands and be able to celebrate with her was super special. And I don't think she understands how much it means to me that she was there. So that was really cool. And just to be there with my family and just be able to take it all in and just enjoy that moment was super special.
And with Lauren, is that the same position connection? What makes it go so deep for you?
I just think we went through so much at Fordham. The coaching change, COVID, being sent on the road. We faced a lot of challenges at Fordham my 4 years. And obviously Lauren was there the whole time as an assistant coach. And she was my position coach at the time. We did workouts together and just having that connection and understanding that it's much more than basketball. I feel like these people that I've met at Fordham, the people that I met at Notre Dame, will be in my life much longer than I play basketball. And if that makes sense, I feel like Lauren is going to be someone that's going to be in my life forever. And just being able to, we've overcome so much and be able to see that and understand where we were my freshman year to where I am now is just amazing. And I think as in flipping the perspective and being a coach and seeing that, I'm sure it was pretty special for her too. And to be able to see me have success that we always wanted at Fordham, it was just amazing.
And that relationship with the coach is so amazing how quick it could go to
yeah.
Do you feel, I know Coach Ive said it was your night when you guys played Florida State back in February. You went off, I think, 24 points, and she couldn't speak more highly of you. Was this an accelerated bonding year, you feel with the coach that you came into?
I mean, Coach Ivy, I'm sure you've heard amazing things, but I'll just keep talking about her because playing for her has just been unbelievable. Like it really has been truly special. And a lot of coaches in this industry, like they sell you what you want to hear, and like during the recruiting process, like you don't know if someone's being genuine or not. But Coach Ivy is so real and such an amazing human being off the court. And when you're playing for her, it just brings out that much more. And like I trust her, she trusts her players trust her. We love her, she loves us, and like you can tell she genuinely cares about us, not as just basketball players, but as humans. And like that's why I feel like we're so good and we're such a special group because there's that level of trust and there's level of love. And like that's our main pillar here at Notre Dame, like love. And we have to love and respect each other in order off the court in order to be successful on the court. And like it's just been so special.
What does she do to structure the season where you guys are growing internally as people and not just as players? Is there like
I think we do it. Wait, what did you say?
Is she a book kind of coach or like, like an affirmation kind of coach? What is it that she does specifically?
I mean, she's really faithful, and like we pray before every single game, and we do an individual prayer, and then we do it together. And I think that just like reflecting on who you are and like what you need to bring has really been like what she does for us. Like we know exactly what she needs from us individually, and I think that goes a long way too, because when you don't understand your role, you don't know what you bring to your team and what you need to bring every single night to be successful. So she goes in individually with you and tells you what she needs from us individually so that collectively we're better as a whole. And I think that's like it goes a long way when you're a player, because sometimes you don't really understand what's needed from you every night. But when your head coach is telling you exactly what you need, what she needs from you, like you know what you need to do. So I think that's like been really beneficial for every single one of us that steps on the court for her.
And do you feel like you still need to do what you thought you needed to do at the beginning of the season now that you guys are going in playing Kent State on Saturday? Basically, has your role or has your approach to your role changed at all in the way you want to approach Saturday?
We faced so many injuries this year that like even like the UNC game, Maddie was out, and the games before that, Sonia was out. So like it's changed a little bit because you have to step up when big players go down, if that makes sense. But I think consistently, my role is just doing all the little things, the intangible things that no one really sees on paper, just holding us together, bringing our glue, calming our freshmen down. Like I think just like small things that people don't notice that I do because it's not on the stat sheet, not on the paper. But I think like that's kind of how it's changed, and kind of how like even looking back from my freshman year, sophomore year, junior year at Fordham, like my role has changed significantly. But like I think it's just as important even if it's not on the stat sheet.
Mm-hmm. Shout out the glue players, man. We all need them and we all love them. Shout out to the glue like you. Exactly. All right. We're going to be going into our final segment here, and our other sponsor today is BetterHelp. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. This show is also brought to you by BetterHelp. Sometimes we all need the opportunity to get something off our chest, big or small. Certain things can really start to get to you. It's important to let that out, especially to someone who's unbiased on your life. So today I want to say how I really feel about something. You might even be thinking about the same thing this week. I think for me, and this conversation with Anna is just really illuminating how much we could hold ourselves back by not having clear direction. So I think it's nice to talk to people and get more advice on the effort that you should put into certain things in your life. So for me, I know I could get sad if I feel like I'm not accomplished. So I always want to do something where I know I could feel good at the end of the day. And it's always nice to talk to someone about that. It's not really a sports thing, but it also is a sports thing too. So keep that in mind. Therapy could be different for everyone. Most of us have bigger problems than on our favorite sports team. And it's important to get things off your chest every once in a while. If you're ever thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be flexible and suited to your schedule. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. And also, the other initiative that we are pushing is our Locked On YouTube channel. It's the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now you can also find it on Amazon Fire TV. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find the Locked On Sports Today channel on Amazon Fire TV. All right, Anna, we still have some time together, and I would love to know, for you being this glue and being a leader too, what have you done? What have you had to do in the postseason, specifically if you want to focus on for freshmen or different things that are required of a leader? What do you feel like you had to do in this postseason to make sure that you guys, as a 4 seed, won it all?
I think just staying focused on our goal at hand, and not really taking anything for granted, I think is our biggest thing. And I think it's so easy. I'm kind of talking about going into this next tournament because when we didn't know who we were playing, for example, like the last 3 practices have been really focusing on ourselves, like really short 30-minute workouts, hour and 10 minutes. So like it's really focused on ourselves. And like those are the times where you can kind of like slip up and like not take it so seriously, not be so sharp, not be like on your P's and Q's. But I think like going into those types of practices are almost the most important ones because you're focusing on who you are, your identity, what we are planning on doing no matter who we're playing against. And I think going into those practices, like you really have to stay focused on the goal because it's really easy to lose those focus and not remember like what we're about to do, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And what has your relationship been like with Hannah this season?
It's been really cool. I mean, I talk to like my friends back home. I talk to my parents. I talk to Sarah about it. Like people will ask me like, do you understand like who you're playing with? And really like, I'm like, no, like Hannah, like she's my teammate. She's my friend. Like someone that like I just play basketball with and I hang out with here occasionally. Like I don't sit back and like realize the things that she's done this year and like how she's given me a couple of those assists, how I've given her a couple of those points. Like I was just looking up like her stats and I'm just like, holy moly, like at the top level, like how do you do this every single night? Like I'll reach out to her because I can understand like the pressure that I can understand like how much pressure she must be feeling, but she's just the type of kid that like, I live for this. This is who I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm meant to be. And like, I idolize that. Like, I think that's really cool. And like that she doesn't put any more pressure on herself than the nation is. Like, she's just like enjoying every single second of it. And it's just been amazing. And like to be able to say in 10 years from now, like she was my teammate, like that's going to be really, really cool and something super special. But honestly, I could say that about all my teammates. Like all my teammates are super, super talented, but also great human beings. So like, it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Do you think your duo highlight this year with Hannah was that behind the back pass back in November? Or
man, we do a highlight video before every game. It's like kind of like a routine, a tradition here. Mm-hmm. That play was played so many times. I've seen it so many times that like it's whatever anymore at this point. Like I've seen so many times because he keeps it in that highlight video that I'm like, whatever. Like it's fine.
Coach Ivy's like, we need you to score in transition. You're like, no problem.
Got it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I got you. And I said too, there was a couple nicknames that came out for you as such a humble player. I read these nicknames. AD, first of all, I know basic, but this is new to me. Anna thing is possible. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
AD ski. How do you feel about that one?
All my friends call me that here. Like all my friends. It's funny because like my school friends here, because I'm my master's program, like we're all really, really close. Like I think Notre Dame, like forget about the basketball, the school, the academics part of it. That's different. It's
up to
really,
the hype.
Really hard. Like it's insane. Like it's not just they don't just say Notre Dame's a really good school just to say it. Like it's something different. But the one thing that I really do like take pride in here is like they established like it's almost like a cult. Like we are so close. Like our program, we're really close. And like my friends in school on other teams too, like call me Anna. But when I'm at basketball, like it's only AD. And so when I invite my friends from school to hang out with my basketball friends, my basketball friends call me AD, and then my school friends call me Anna. And if they try to switch it, it's so weird. Like I don't respond to Anna from my teammates, and I don't respond from AD to my school friends. Like, it's just funny how it works that like it stuck. AD really stuck. And like some of my teammates actually thought that like I've been called AD my whole life. But like this was my first ever like nickname ever that like really stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always knew you as Anna DeWolfe. That's pretty much it. The DeWolfe pack. Like there was a lot of plays on the last name, but AD is tough though. I mean, maybe you'll meet Anthony Davis one day and be like, you could claim it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've also heard DeWolfe of Ball Street. That was at Fordham.
Oh yeah, that's a very Fordham nickname.
Yeah, very. Yeah. Yep.
And I have to just comment too on being from Maine. I feel like hearing you talk about it in different podcasts, it kind of gave you a little bit of an underdog mentality. At least that's what you used to say back in the day. I wonder if that's changed. But you also have a lot of other great talent coming out from Maine, like Kenzie Holmes on Indiana. Maggie Whitmore shouted you out. What is it about playing in Maine and competing in that way that you feel like, does that still have a part of your identity in the way you play now, or is that a completely different world?
I feel like it's almost like we're like trying to prove something. I guess that like with a little chip on our shoulder. We used to always say that in AAU when we were in high school. Like we have to play with that chip on our shoulder because people think that we don't do much in Maine. Like what is
orange uniform?
In Maine? Yeah, or blue and orange. Yeah, the Maine Firecrackers. But also, it's funny because a lot of coaches used to come to my AAU coaches and be like, we're not even recruiting any of your kids, but we just love the way that you guys played. Like my AAU team, and I think that's why like I picked two really, really good schools and really good, like I put tons of great people in my corner because of the AAU program that I played for. And a lot of us will attest to say this, that like we wouldn't be where we are without those AAU coaches and that AAU program that we played for, because they really did set us up for success. Like we were so disciplined. We always every single sprint, we always stayed behind the line. We never jumped the gun. If we did, we were penalized for it. Like we were so disciplined. But I think it's really carried over in the college level, and that set us all up for success because we're not going to be the most athletic player on the court. We're not going to be able to, we just have to kind of outsmart people. And I think that really started from my AAU program. But like I said, like from Maine, it's just it was such a close-knit community. We're all still friends to this day. Like we're actually having a Maine Firecracker party this summer, bringing everyone back together, which is really cool and super special. But yeah, shout out to the Maine Firecrackers because they really did set us all up for success.
And shout out to everybody that's been part of you along for this journey too. I mean, you're heading into the first round of March Madness. You are in the 2,000 point club. Had so many highlights this season. So it's an honor to have you on Locked On, especially in a big week. Is this are you feeling the jitters, or is this kind of another day?
I just can't wait. Like I'm just super excited. Like even when we were at Fordham, like this is where we wanted to be. Like this was always the goal at Fordham, to win the A10 and go to March Madness. But like we obviously fell short. So I feel like it's just that much more special. And I think I'm just excited. Like I can't wait any longer, I guess, if that makes sense.
All right. You have a couple more days to wait. This is going to come out on Thursday. So Kent State at home on Saturday. I don't even need to tell people to come out. How have the crowds been? That's going to be my final question. How have the crowds been for you this year?
Yeah. It's funny because my parents will ask me, like, does it feel different? Like, is it on the court? Like, do you feel like the pressure from the crowd? And I'm like, honestly, I don't even like notice it. Like I like am, and the way that our gym's set up, like you can't really see like kind of around you, like because it gets darker because the spotlights are really on the court. Mm-hmm. But when you score, or like when like someone steals the ball and gets a layup, like you can feel it in your chest, like how loud it is, like that. And that's when I'm like, holy, there is a lot of people here. But like I don't really think about it. It's been a lot of fun, and it's amazing to see like the growth of women's basketball and just being able to be a part of that, and like seeing the successful women like a part of this program, and my coaches, and like just being able to be a part of that is super humbling, and it's super exciting for me.
A lot of little ballers coming out to come see you guys too. I see a lot of those pictures.
Yeah, it's really cool, and just like being able to give your autograph to like the little girls there, it's just like it feels like almost full circle for me, because when I was younger, like I was those little girls. Like I wouldn't leave the gym until like I got to either say hi or get an autograph. Like even when I was going up to the high schoolers, like I just know that I was once those little girls, and like I always just try to like make it a point to say hi to them and take a picture with them, and so it's been cool.
Allie Clement, that was one of your people you looked up to?
She still is. She still
Oh.
is like one of my big role models. I still talk to her to this day. I always have to give her a shout out. When I was younger, she took me under her wing, and I just remember like when I'd go to her games in high school, like I remember going home and just being like I need to be like her. Like that's who I want to be. Like and she went and played at Marist, had a great career there. And I just like, it was just fun. Like it gave me something to like look forward to, like being old like her and being a basketball player like her. And I think like it's almost like my purpose to be able to be like someone like that to the younger generation. So I feel like having her when I was younger just really set me up for success, because she's so successful in life now. And the connection that we still have is just super special to me.
Well, congrats on the ACC title. This is amazing to say. And good luck at home on Saturday versus Kent State, Anna.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for coming on Locked On Women's Basketball. Always a pleasure to see your highlights and everything, and to hear how your mind works too is super refreshing. So
Thank you.
I appreciate it, Anna. Good luck.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Of course.